Welcome to Alp English Podcast. I'm Ava.
And I'm Daniel. Today we have a fun and crazy topic. Did that really happen? Travel stories.
This is a B1, B2 episode. We're going to tell you two real-sounding but crazy travel stories. And sometimes you might think, did that really happen?
We'll use the past simple and past continuous to tell our stories. For example, I was waiting at the airport when something strange happened.
You can listen, repeat some sentences, and think about your own travel stories.
All right, Eva, you go first. Tell us about one crazy travel story.
Okay, this story happened about 3 years ago. I was flying from my city to another country for a holiday. My flight had a connection, so first I flew to a big hub airport, and then I had another flight to my final destination.
So you had two flights.
Yes, the first flight was fine, but when I arrived at the big airport, I looked at the screen and I saw something that made my heart stop. The screen said, "Flight AV123, boarding closed."
Oh no.
Yes, my second flight was already closing. I checked the time, and I realized that I had only 15 minutes to get to the gate. The problem was the gate was on the other side of the airport.
So what did you do?
I started running. I was running through the airport with my backpack, my jacket, and a bottle of water. People were looking at me like I was crazy. I ran down the escalator, turned left, turned right, and finally I saw my gate.
Was it still open?
There was one person standing at the door. She looked at me and said, "Are you Ava?" I nodded and tried to breathe. She said, "You are the last passenger. Run!" I gave her my boarding pass and I ran down the tunnel to the plane. Everyone was already sitting. When I entered, people looked at me with that face, this is the person who made us wait. I put my bag in the overhead locker, sat down, and just laughed.
Did you make it to your destination on time?
Yes, we took off 5 minutes later. If I had arrived 1 minute later, I think I would have lost my flight.
Wow, crazy. Dear listener, have you ever almost missed a flight or a train? You can think, I was running through the airport when... Now, I'll tell you my crazy travel story.
Go ahead.
This happened on a trip to another country about 5 years ago. I arrived late at night in a big city. I booked a small hotel near the center. I took a taxi, showed the address to the driver, and 20 minutes later, I was standing in front of the hotel door with my suitcase.
So far, everything is normal.
Yes. I rang the bell. Nothing. I rang again. Silence. The street was almost empty. Only one small cat was walking near the door. I looked at my confirmation email and I saw a small sentence in red. Reception closes at 10 p.m. I checked the time. It was 10:30.
Oh, no.
Exactly. The hotel door was closed. My phone battery was almost dead, and I was standing alone in the dark street with my suitcase. I thought, is this a joke? Did that really happen?
What did you do?
First, I sat on my suitcase and laughed for a second because it felt like a movie. Then I looked at my email and I found a phone number for emergency check-in. My phone battery was almost dead, so I called quickly. A sleepy voice answered, "Hello?" I explained the situation. The man said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were coming late. I'll come in 10 minutes."
Did he come?
Yes. After 10 very long minutes, a small car arrived. The man got out, opened the door, and gave me a key. He said, "You're lucky. Sometimes people come after 11 and I don't hear the phone." So I went in, found my room, and fell asleep in about 2 minutes.
That is stressful.
Yes, but now it's a funny story. Dear listener, maybe you also have a story that was scary in the moment, but funny later. Let's stop for a short grammar break.
We are using past simple and past continuous for our stories. Past simple, I ran, I called, I arrived. Past continuous, I was running. People were looking at me. My phone battery was dying.
We use past simple for finished actions and past continuous for an action that was in progress when something else happened. For example, I was running to the gate when I saw the staff member.
Dear listener, repeat after us. I was waiting at the station when the train left.
I was looking at my phone when I missed my stop.
Good. Now, let's give you some questions so you can think about your own travel stories.
Question 1. Have you ever had a crazy travel day? Maybe you missed a bus, lost your suitcase, or went to the wrong hotel.
Question 2. How did you feel in that moment, and how do you feel now when you remember it?
Question 3. Can you tell your story in 3 or 4 past simple sentences? For example, last year I went to another city. I got on the wrong train. I arrived 200 kilometers from my hotel.
You can pause this podcast and say your story out loud or write it in a notebook.
Before we finish, let's play a mini game. We told you 2 stories today. One of them is 100% true. The other one is half true and a little bit changed. Can you guess which one?
Was it my story about almost missing the flight or Daniel's story about the closed hotel? We won't tell you the answer, but you can guess in the comments.
Let's review quickly. Today we talked about crazy travel stories and moments when we think, did that really happen?
We practiced past simple and past continuous with real-life verbs like ran, arrived, called, waited, left.
Now it's your turn. After this episode, try to tell one crazy travel story in English. Where were you? What happened? How did it end?
Thanks for listening to Alp English Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast and share it with your friends who are learning English.
Take care, travel safely, and if something crazy happens, remember, it might become a good English story later.
Bye.
Bye.